What's going on, guys? Welcome to today's second stimulus check update, stimulus package update, and stimulus news report for Saturday, December 19th. You may have heard, but this past week for stimulus negotiations was fairly sad. On Monday, we heard and we got the Problem Solvers Caucus came out and said, here's your bill. Here's your roughly 600-page bill. It's going to be for $748 billion. It's going to have $300 per week in unemployment benefits for 16 weeks. It's going to have rental assistance to the tune of $25 billion. It's going to have $288 billion to $300 billion on PPP funding. It's going to have food assistance. It's going to have education funding and so much more. Well, great. It didn't have a $600 stimulus check. It didn't have a $1,200 stimulus check. It had no stimulus check whatsoever. Well, on Tuesday, we get rumors that this $748 billion stimulus package could potentially increase to about $900 billion. Why? For stimulus checks, a $600 stimulus check, which will come out to roughly $150 billion in funding. Well, that's great. But let's fast forward to Friday. Yesterday, we were hearing rumors about a possible $1,200 stimulus check. On Thursday, President Trump said, he was going to come out and say, I want to do a $2,000 stimulus check. Well, the $1,200 stimulus check started to gain a little bit of traction. Bernie Sanders, AOC, Josh Hawley, even Chuck Schumer came out and said that they want a $1,200 stimulus check. Well, in order to do a $1,200 stimulus check, Republicans are talking about cutting unemployment benefits and by losing that 1-month eviction moratorium. So, at this point, everything right now seems like it's really up in the air. What we know is that stimulus checks of at least $600 are not only just on the table and being considered, these are actually being considered as one of the main pillars in this entire stimulus negotiation. This, along with PPP funding, unemployment benefits, vaccine distribution, and rental assistance. Those 5 things make up the pillars for this stimulus package. Now, what I can tell you is that yesterday there was a lot of pressure on Congress to pass a bill. No, it was not to pass a bill on the stimulus package. That wasn't where the pressure was. The pressure was on Congress to pass a bill for a 2-day stopgap bill to keep the government funded until Sunday. That is tomorrow. So right now, and yes, the government is still open. If you haven't heard, the government is still open. The House first passed this bill, and then the Senate went on and passed it. The only person that objected to this and didn't support this was Bernie Sanders. But he said after talking to Mitch McConnell said, we will keep the Senate open. We are not going home anytime soon until this bill is passed. Well, Bernie Sanders dropped his objection, and ultimately it passed through the Senate. So, what we know is today we have Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell back at it again, and they are supposed to be negotiating this deal and putting the strategy in place that they've been using for months that has not yielded any results. I don't see how we're going to get something done with these two negotiating the terms. What we know right now is that the Senate will continue to push judges through. That's going to be what they do this weekend. They will continue to work. The House will not work. They will not come back until tomorrow at 1 p.m. That is what we know based on what Steny Hoyer has said. What is currently being said is at this point that the House is tentatively scheduled to vote tomorrow. Now, tentatively being the main key word, simply because this that we know of will be for the stimulus package, but what is going to be in this package is unknown. Many people in the House have never seen this bill. A lot of people in the Senate don't even know what's going to be included. They have no idea what the language will look like. There are a handful of people that have read this bill and do support it, but the majority of members in the House and the Senate have never seen it. So, what is being said is this vote could be on this stimulus package, this COVID relief package, or it could be on an additional continuing resolution or another 1-week, 2-week potential stopgap bill. So right now, we don't know what the House will vote on tomorrow. But what we do know is our two leaders are supposed to be back at it again today and negotiating to get closer to a final deal. Whether that happens or not, we don't know. Something that is still on the table at this moment is a modified unemployment extension of only 12 to 13 weeks. Yes, 12 to 13 weeks. It used to be 16 weeks, but then Republicans want to do about a 13-week unemployment benefit because that will end at the end of March instead of sometime in the mid to end of April. That is currently what is being talked about. But the most recent report out yesterday on this entire thing, and one that was reiterated today, is stating that Republicans want to drop from 12 to 13 weeks of unemployment benefits down to 10 weeks of full unemployment benefits, that $300 per week, but they want to progressively phase out this $300 per week. So, based on what's being said right now, and we don't know the exact text of this bill, we don't know exactly if this is 100% true or if they're going to do modifications here, but what's currently being said is if it's $300 per week, you will get that until week 10. Okay, so week 10, you get $300 per week. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks in, $300 per week. Then on week 11, you get $200. On week 12, you get $100. On week 13, you actually get nothing. Okay, it goes from $300, $200 to $100 to nothing. That is how they want to phase it out. Well, I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know if they are really going to do this. But that's what Republicans are saying, and that's what the current reports are indicating. Right now, Democrats do not fully support this number. They do not fully support the 12 to 13 weeks, but they would like to do a 16-week program, a 16-week unemployment benefit, extension, and then phase it out from 16 weeks. So obviously, Republicans want to go a little bit cheaper. Democrats want to cost a little bit more money. Now, what's right and wrong here? You'll just stick it to 16 weeks. If you can't agree on phasing it out at the end or before, just keep it at 16 weeks. Just do something simple, pass it, get the American people the relief that they truly need. So, we will see what happens on that front, but right now, that is one of the sticking points in this negotiation. And now I hear your frustrations on everything, on stimulus checks, on unemployment benefits, on just can they work something out? Can they pass something? I hear your frustrations here on the channel. I read all your comments. I try to respond as many as possible. You guys do you post a lot of comments, which I absolutely love. Same time, it makes it sometimes difficult to comment on every single one, but I try. So I decided to place a phone call late last night. Last night, I decided I was going to call Nancy Pelosi's office and Mitch McConnell's office. Well, lo and behold, nobody answered. I didn't expect anybody to answer, but I decided let's leave a message. So I left a message, and I don't expect much to come from this, but I simply explained that with every passing day, hundreds and hundreds of families are put out on the streets. I explained how thousands are going without food on a daily basis. Now, I don't expect this to do much. I really don't. But if this is all I can do, and if it lights a little bit of a fire under one of the leaders' butts, great. Hopefully I did my job. So, one thing I can tell you that you can do if you feel helpless, and there's nothing that you think you can do, you can simply call your state representative. Leave a message. Let them know and express your feelings. Express what's currently going on. Because the more that they hear from us, the American people, chances are it's going to do very little, but it could help in some way. So, go ahead and give it a try. Now, what is new in the world of stimulus negotiations? This is probably what you're here for. As of this morning, I'm hearing reports that Nancy Pelosi is finding it very difficult to move forward with negotiations when Senator Pat Toomey is saying that Republicans have a hard red line on closing the federal lending programs that were set up through the CARES Act. So, some people are currently questioning whether or not Nancy Pelosi truly wants to get a deal done. And they're saying that she's still playing these political games and she's just leading Republicans on by buying time for the Georgia Senate runoff to actually take place on January 5th. I don't believe that's ultimately true. I hope not. But it is because of these reports that that are coming out today that are indicating that some members of the Problem Solvers Caucus are doing what they can to try and come to some type of compromise on this matter. Because Nancy Pelosi feels that she can't get anywhere with Mitch McConnell because Mitch McConnell is trying to, do what the other senators want, what his caucus would like, and Mitch McConnell probably wants this as well. And he could be getting this in his ear from Steve Mnuchin and President Trump. We don't know. But right now, it's being said that the Problem Solvers Caucus is going to step in and try to come to some type of compromise on this as well. If this does happen, great. If not, it's going to be on Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell to come to some type of compromise on this. And right now, based on their current negotiation tactics, I don't see those two coming to any type of agreement. Now, on Monday, the Problem Solvers Caucus put together the framework of the bill we are currently negotiating. But nobody in the group saw this hurdle coming. Nobody saw it coming. Nobody expected it, which means it just came out of nowhere. Pat Toomey just brought it up out of nowhere, and that's creating an issue. Here's what the Problem Solvers Caucus had to say yesterday through a press release based on what is currently going on and how they can try to push the stimulus negotiations over the finish line. So, here's what they had to say. Today, we find ourselves in the middle of a global pandemic that has taken the lives of more than 310,000 Americans and hours away from a government shutdown that threatens to delay urgent aid to people in need throughout the nation. We must set our differences aside. The American people elected us to govern on their behalf, and at a time when they need us more than ever, we must end the partisan games and meet this moment together for the good of the country. On Monday, a bipartisan bicameral group presented a bill that helps provide for the emergency needs of the millions of families struggling to make ends meet. Once again, we encourage the leaders to finish what we started and deliver immediate assistance to the workers, families, and businesses that need it most. Now, here's what I can tell you right now based on what we know today. Even if this bill passes tomorrow or Monday, people on unemployment, people collecting unemployment benefits, will most likely see some type of delay. This delay will most likely last at least 1, possibly 2, but most likely 3 weeks, which means the unemployment benefits right now expire on December 26th. So yes, Merry Christmas. Tomorrow your benefits expire. Now, if they expire on December 26th, that means you potentially will not see another unemployment check until possibly the middle of January. Many people are worried about this. This is going to be a big hit to many families. Also, right now, we are looking at possibly not having any federal eviction moratorium extended, which means evictions will most likely ramp up as soon as January 1st. That is not good news for those of you that are behind on rent. That is not good news for those of you that have already seen eviction notices. The eviction notices can happen. The hearings can already take place. The only thing that cannot happen is an actual eviction. The sheriff coming to your home, coming to your apartment, and evicting you and your family. That cannot happen until January 1st under federal law. Many states are trying to step up at this time and will potentially extend the eviction moratorium. Some states will not. Those states should be very careful. And to make matters worse, Congress keeps lowering the amount of stimulus that they are potentially going to provide to the American people, which means stimulus checks used to be at $1,200. Then they went down to nothing, went back up to $600. They're back up to $1,200. Hopefully they stay there and it actually passes. Unemployment benefits went from $600 per week, went down to nothing, went up to $300. Then it went back down to nothing, came back up to $300, and that's pretty much where it looks like it's going to sit. Also, rental assistance, we don't know who's going to qualify. So, just be prepared that even though you may be in need of some of this stimulus, some of it may not come or it could run out before it actually gets to you. So, that's what we know. I wish I had better news for you so that you can actually enjoy your weekend, but my goal here is not just to provide the best possible information ever and to give you the biggest smile on your face, is to provide the truth and the facts as to currently what is going on. My point of view, the way I look at things is I would rather have the facts so that I can make the best decision for me and my family than rather be fed lies and stuff that will not happen, false hopes. Okay, I want the truth. So that is what I try to bring to you. Sorry if it's not the best news. Sorry if I bring you down early on in the morning, but I do want to give you the facts. That is my goal here. So just want to thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you have a wonderful weekend. Feel free to subscribe so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on, and I'll see you guys on the next one.